Hello and welcome to EBA Day 2021. I'm Hannah Wallace and calling into our virtual studio to share insights from their recent white paper, Better Business Banking, Collaborating for Success, which looks at how collaboration is helping financial services providers deliver propositions fit for purpose. So calling in is Jon Levine, co-head of institutional banking and a payments specialist for Banking Circle. So Jon, thank you very much for calling in.
Well, thank you for having me.
Good to have you on. So yes, over the last 12 months, we've seen banks rapidly change their digital trajectory, achieved through collaboration with specialists who've helped them meet their customer needs. And the challenge that now remains is to ensure the innovation and collaboration that became necessities in 2020 now becomes the norm moving forward, which leads me quite nicely into your research. So tell me, what did you discover and therefore predict will be the main struggles for banks in 2021? Let's start there.
Sure. So if we start at a high level, the struggle within a bank is actually that the customer expectations and what banks want to deliver to their customers is rapidly changing. And meeting those new demands requires a lot of hard work to get there. And you have to do it with your existing tech stack, your existing limitations, an existing budget, existing resources. It's quite a lot to actually deliver in a relatively fast fashion. When it comes to the payments world where we specialize, I mean, there's huge regulatory change, huge innovation going on. It's really an exciting time with so much potential. But how do you do it all in some fashion that is achievable? What we found in some of the surveys we did is that banks really do believe that facilitating trade and international commerce are very topical. Most of their customers do, especially in a place like the UK, where we trade with a large currency zone that's not our own currency, that international payments are essential. Mm-hmm. And 2/3 to 3/4 of their customers do use those services, and it's regarded as very important.
Of course. And is there anything banks can do to sort of fight back then? Or do you think they should move over and stick to the core offering maybe?
Well, it's a really interesting question. I don't think banks should step aside. That's certainly not the answer. Nor would any bank CEO worth his or her salt say that. I think the question, though, is different today. What is a core offering? Mm-hmm. And that's a foundational question. So the customer thinks about the front end on how they interact with the bank. They are, to a degree, interested in the middle and back end from a security and a resilience perspective, but they don't see it. They somewhat rely on the bank to have control of their environment and to make sure it's safe and secure. And so therefore, from a bank's perspective, it's really about the customer journey that's essential, and how you deliver that. You actually have more latitude now than you might have had 5 or 10 or 20 years ago. And you can pick different building blocks from different providers to stitch together a truly amazing offering.
All right, and I think it's fair to say there's been a real shift in attitude. So why do you think banks have changed their attitude towards fintechs? And we've seen a move from competition to more collaboration.
Yeah, I think that collaboration is the way of the future, and in fact has been embraced by banks for quite a long time. There's just so many things that have to be delivered. If you think about international payments, for example, you have to move money quickly and efficiently around the world. It requires tons of licenses, lots of technology, an AML control environment that really can root out money laundering and other nefarious activities. And it takes a lot of focus and a lot of capital to do it. And so actually partnering in the payments world is only speeding up. It's been around for a long time, but I think we're in the next generation, whereas banks focus more on what they think is their core, outsourcing the payments requirements of their customers is something that's top of the list.
All right, and I like how you gave a bit of a history to it then. And do you think this is going to be a permanent shift or a temporary solution, especially while the pandemic persists? What about that?
Yeah, I think this is here to stay. And as I said before, it's been here for a long time, right? And I think it's going to continue. It's just there's so many things that can be done, so many things that could be really fascinating for customers and deliver a great experience, and you can't build it all yourself. Or you could with a huge budget and tons of resources, but that's not a realistic proposition. It's much better to find ways to partner, to do things that are capital light for a bank, faster to execution. And actually, when you have economies of scale, often the resilience and the customer experience on a particular building block is better as well. So it's hard to see the downside, actually.
All right. Well, Jon, thank you so much for sharing your insights. And I know we'll hear a bit more about this at EBA Day. But for now, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much. And then hope we get to catch up further down the line.
Sounds great. Thank you.